It certainly is an honor for me to be the presenter for the 1965 Waterford Maritime Champs baseball team. First of all, I'd like to read out the names of the people that were on that team. William Bucky Walzak, then Willie MacKinnon, Byron MacKinnon, Jimmy Nemis, Jack Demeter, John Lefty Hewak, Claude MacKenzie, Steve Moseychuck, George Hughes, Cordell Graham, Butch Chiasson, Ray Bozo Steele, Michael Spike MacKinnon, Stan Eksal, Bobby Mills, Mike Roberts, and Wayne Barrett. Coaches were Kenny Timmons Sr. and Sandy Burns Sr. Executive Lauchie MacEachern, Michael Buck Kelly, trainer John Lalo, assistant trainer Lawrence MacKinnon, sponsor A.B. Libis from Olands Brewery, bat boy Sandy Burns Jr. and Bill Burns. Anyway, in October of 1965, the Waterford Olands Giants topped off a fantastic season by taking home the Maritime Senior Baseball crown. The team finished first during the regular season in the three-team Cape Breton Senior Baseball League. Second place belonged to the Sydney Seal Kings, and in third spot was the Glace Bay Miners. Of note, the Waterford third baseman Jackie Demeter won the league batting title with a hefty .390 average. 4 percentage points back at .386 was teammate George Hughes. Three players, including Butch Chiasson and Bobby Mills of the Giants, tied for fourth, posting the .333 mark, and a couple more Giants, Stan Eksal and Byron MacKinnon, were among the league's top hitters as well, hitting .310 and .290 respectively. As a result of finishing first, the Giants automatically advanced to the league final. Back then, best-of-9 playoff rounds were popular, and it took all 9 games in the semifinal for the Steel Kings to get by Glace Bay, thereby setting up in the Waterford-Sydney series to determine the league champion. The Giants had a relatively easy time of it versus the Steel Kings, taking the series 5 games to 2, thus winning their 4th consecutive Cape Breton Senior Baseball crown. The Waterford then traveled to the mainland for the opening 2 games of the Nova Scotia Senior Final versus the Dartmouth Indians. The team split in Dartmouth as the home side won the first match 8-4, and the visitors rebounded 10-8 in a wild game 2. In that contest, Mike Roberts started on the mound for New Waterford and was coasting along with a 4-0 lead through 5 innings. In fact, heading into the 5th, Roberts had held the Indians hitless. Dartmouth, however, narrowed the gap to 4-3 in the 6th, and 2 innings later, the Giants went ahead 8-5. Then came the stormy 9th. Trailing by 3 in its final at-bat, New Waterford rallied nicely for 5 runs to retake the lead 10-8. The bottom half of the 9th, however, was rather tense for the Giants. How tense? Well, Dartmouth had the bases full with nobody out, but relief pitcher George Hughes, with help from his friends, put out the fire. Third baseman Jackie Demeter made a sparkling grab on a red-hot grounder and smartly threw the lead runner out at the plate for the first out. The next batter flied to left fielder Buck Walzak, who held the Dartmouth base runners at bay for out number 2. The Giants then breathed a huge sigh of relief as Hughes escaped the bases-loaded jam by getting a routine ground out to end the game. We had a lot of really good pitchers, said Jimmy Nemis, the Giants outfielder in '65. George Hughes was an infielder and he pitched. Mike Roberts had a good fastball and played shortstop. Stan Eksal was a tough player. He pitched and played the outfield. Butch Chiasson played the infield and the outfield. A couple of left-handers, Bobby Mills and Lefty Hewak, came over from Sydney and helped us a lot, both on the mound and elsewhere on the field. The following weekend, the provincial final shifted to New Waterford for games 3, 4, and if necessary, a 5th match. Dartmouth won the opener in our coal mining town by a convincing 7-3 score to take a 2-1 series lead. The following day, the Giants evened the series on a nifty 3-hitter by southpaw Bobby Mills that resulted in a 4-1 win. That same afternoon, in the rubber match, Mike Roberts allowed just 6 Dartmouth hits for another 4-1 victory. And for the second time in 6 years, the Giants were Nova Scotia Senior Champs. Next for the Olands Giants was the Maritime Senior Final versus the Moncton Schooners. It was a best-of-3 affair held entirely in Waterford. Interestingly, leading up to the start of play, there was uneasiness around town regarding the local squad's prolonged layoff. After all, it had been almost 2 full weeks since the Giants last saw action versus Dartmouth in the provincial final. However, that concern was put to rest on the weekend of October the 9th and 10th as the Giants defeated Moncton by scores of 6-3 and 8-3 to claim their 2nd Maritime Senior Baseball title. Stan Eksal was the pitcher of record in both contests. In the Saturday tilt, He was credited with the win after relieving starter Mills in the 8th. The next day, Eksal threw a complete game 4-hitter. So the local newspaper of the day, the final game was attended by the largest crowd of the season and played in perfect warm baseball weather. Following the win, the Giants were taken on a traditional victory ride on the big fire truck, heading a mile-long parade of cars through the town. At Nemis, everything started with Coach Timmons and manager Sandy Burns. We played hard for them. They were good guys, and they knew the game. And it gives me great pleasure to help induct them into the Waterford Sports Heritage Hall of Fame. And we'd like to have some members of the 1965 Giants come up and accept the plaque. And I think George Hughes is going to say a few words when he gets there.
Go, Jackie, head of baby. Come on, master! What's going Congratulations. Hi, master.
You're going to get your picture taken in order.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to say a few words on behalf of the Waterford Giants. I was the youngest player and played second place because Mr. Important, Carl Marsh over there, had a job to do in Quebec and he couldn't play it. So I was very pleased to step in. And according to Mike Roberts, I did a better job than he would come in. And there's a couple of funny, it's so great to be home and see these guys. Here's Jackie Demeter. All through school, he dropped out of Catholic high school, became a Protestant high school, and graduated. Right? And he thanks me to this day. Willie Cormier. I started teaching in Halifax. I had a soccer team I was coaching. I brought him down to play against Beck. We stopped at the playing field, Mount Carmel Field, right up here, and the kids said to the kids, get off the bus. We're going to play. Well, there was a lineup. They were bumping in one. Nobody was moving. I said, what's going on here? So I go out. I look down on the ground. Bus doors are open. There's Willie Cormier. You get back on that bus. We're going to kick your ass. I said, holy. And having Willie with us play baseball for so many years and basketball, I came to the front of the bus. Willie saw me. George, it's so good to have you guys here. So we ended up losing anyway, but it was funny to see Willie doing that. You know, one of the great things about playing baseball and basketball and soccer and stuff in the Waterford and the memories and I hear names, Sandy Burns and Kenny and those guys, and it brings me back to one thought, you know, that I think is so important to us. And I was one of the younger players, so this was something that stayed with me the rest of my life, is the fact that if you're good at something, hockey, baseball, basketball, somebody got you there. Somebody got you there. It wasn't just your talent alone. Somebody had to help you develop it. And it was a family member, a coach, Kenny Timmons or Sandy Burns. It was somebody else. And sometimes we forget that. We should never forget it. And when I look at the guys in the Waterford Giants, I think of all the things I learned from them. And I know, Andy, you're looking at me saying, I learned a lot from you too, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It runs in the McKenzie family. But that's important, and I want to thank these guys and all of you for coming and supporting us. And the Waterford Giants. Thank you very much.